Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you have not been here before. We're gonna make something really pretty. I'm really excited about these gorgeous florals that we did with Gracefully Created. Look at how beautiful that is. Y'all are gonna have to ignore my voice. It sounds like I'm talking out of my nose. Allergies. I got the allergies. These have already been released and are available at gracefullycreatedccd.com. You can use BBB10 and save 10% off your order. They are beautiful, but these are the ones that we are going to use first. And we're gonna put it on a 32-ounce plump from Tipsy Magnolia, or at least this is how I have planned it out. It might change. We're gonna use Plum from Southern Belle Glitter as our base. Beautiful plum. And then we're using Savage from Glitter Dip Sips as our glitter because that just matches so dang perfect. So perfect. So the very first thing that we're going to do is spray paint our tumbler. We're going to spray paint it first just so there's a base in case this misses any areas. I have an exact match for this, I think. Which one matches better? It's about the same. That works. We'll use this one. Nah. Yeah, we'll use that one. Okay, I'm going to go spray paint this. And then we're going to come back and add on our full adhesive and our full. Okay, our cup is completely dry. We're using a Total Face elf brush. This is the best brush for application. It's a really big brush and it only takes a little bit of this full adhesive. It goes a really long way, but this brush is going to help us get it nice and even without any streaking, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm not doing too thick of a coat. And then around the bottom and the edges, I'm just dabbing. And then I'm going to do that all around the cup. This is going to prevent any streaking showing underneath my fulls. If you're doing a fine glitter, chunky glitter, it really doesn't matter too much. Because it's chunky, it doesn't show any streaking in your glue or your epoxy when you're applying glitter. But for fulls and for fine glitters, micas, all of those are going to show some sort of detail underneath. So just remember to texturize your glues or your epoxy, and that will help and I'm going to keep going until these marks get fine. I don't want, see how it's kind of thicker in some areas? as the glue begins to dry a little bit, it's going to stay tacky, but you will get more of an even coat. You don't want any pools of glue anywhere. All right, immediately after you use your full glue, for one, put the lid back on because this will gunk up. It's really, really amazing glue and you don't want to waste a tiny drop. Believe me, I have done it so many times and it makes me mad every time. Go wash your brush off because if you don't, it's going to be stuck like this. Once your glue has dried, you can either allow it to air dry. It is dry when it is clear. Or you can use a low heat setting on a heat gun. Do not use high heat and don't get too close to the cup because it can cause your glue to bubble. It will be extremely tacky. I always joke about this glue. You could throw it on a wall and it would probably stick. So don't lay it down. Make sure you use something to stand it up while you get your full ready. What we can actually do, let's see if I can adjust y'all out here. There we go. So I'm going to leave this standing up and I'm actually just going to wrap my foil around it. Bam. There we go. Roll away cup. Just rub the foil on like so. Got some glitter from another project coming on here. And we're not going for perfection. I love when it looks a little rustic or a little distressed. I think it just adds to the design. Like, have you ever had a paint crackle when you're trying to do a peekaboo? Like if you go over the cup to seal in your floral decals and the paint crackles a little bit. I almost get excited when that happens. Of course not when I need a solid cup, but when that happens, it just adds so much to the design and something that just can't be recreated. I think it's awesome. If you've made any of the floral peekaboo tumblers, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Take this right down the seam. That right up and our bottom. We do want to seal this in with a clear coat of epoxy before going in, or I'm sorry, seal it in with a clear coat of spray paint. Jeez, I'm trying to mess y'all up. Seal it in with a clear coat of spray paint before you go in with epoxy, because for me, I don't know if it's happened to anybody else before, but this glue, since it's tacky, if you do go straight in with epoxy, it's turned like a milky white color in the background on me before. I don't want that to happen again. So I'm going to seal it in with Rust-Oleum Matte Clear Coat. Here's our beautiful crackle effect with our fulls. All right, I'm going to go seal this in and we'll be back. I have 5 milliliters of a little extra incorporated epoxy mixed up already. So I am wearing a respirator, and we're going to mix in a little bit of Rachel from Southern Belle Glitter into our epoxy to give it a little bit of a shimmer on top of our fulls. Okay. Probably going to add in a little bit more than that. Get in there, Rachel. Rachel is gorgeous. I need to turn this light on. Let me turn the light on. See how I can see a little bit better. Stay. All right, that's better. Now you can see Rachel. Look at how beautiful that is. Love it. That's good. I'm not going to overtake our fulls, but I wanted just a little something extra in there. All right. And this pink matches the bright pinks that are in our decals too. So we're going to go in with this epoxy. Again, this is 5 milliliters, so it's not a whole lot. We want it to be thin. Since we're doing a glitter application. And then once we have covered the whole thing, I'm going to dab my hand so there's no streaking in our shimmer. Let's get rid of all of those streaks. And then we'll go over with a torch, and that will level everything out for us. There we go. Holy crap. I don't know what just happened. Whew. Scared the bejesus out of me. It's taking a while for that to go away. Sure, might be time for a new torch. All right, now that our heart is going today. So we want our glitter to come out a little bit further than this piece that's going to go here in the center. So, Lord have mercy. Let's start right here in the middle. There we go. You're looking gorgeous. Oh my goodness. That's going to be hard to cover up now. Very pretty. That's so pretty. I think that's good. Yep, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna put my glove back on and just dab around the center here. And I'm gonna let this dry completely. I will give it 2 coats of epoxy, and then we will come back and put our decals on. All right, 2 coats of epoxy. I sanded in between. I do have a palm sander, and that really helps when you have a chunky glitter or an electric sander. Really, really helps. So these are gonna match really great, and I have my Cricut going in the background. That's what's making all kinds of noise. And I'm already cutting the decal. We're using 2 of these holographic vinyls from TECKWRAPCRAFT. I'm using this as my base to try to pull some of these florals in. We're doing a hair offset of this peachy color to match the pink that's in those florals, and then this as a matching color for our tumbler on top. I really hope that it all comes together the way that I'm thinking it should, but I just can't get over these holographic holographic vinyls from TECKWRAPCRAFT. They are incredible. I know I have a couple more, but this is the bubble-free holographic silver. I think I have a blue one too, I just don't see it. These are so pretty. Okay, set these to the side. I have that cutting, and we will go ahead and add on rough cut this out, and then we'll go back and cut it a little bit better. You don't have to get super close. I just do like to try to cut off as much as that clear portion as possible, because whatever you leave on, you're gonna have to trim off, or not trim off, press down. And that's just more space that you have for bubbles to be under, or to show under epoxy if you don't get it pressed down really well. I try to leave as little of that clear space as possible, without wasting too much time on cutting it. This should line up near perfect. When I create these, I have in mind, a lot of people that follow me, or a lot of you, use the TIPSY Magnolia tumblers, and I want to at least size it to be perfect around a tumbler with 2 coats of epoxy at minimum. You could definitely squeeze in a 3rd coat of epoxy, but it almost lines up perfect.
if my epoxy was a little bit thicker, which you typically have to do for a chunky glitter. If it was a little bit thicker, then this would line up perfectly, but that is okay. We're gonna try to put this right smack dab in the middle of this cup. That's about the highest point there. Needs to come down just a hair. Phew. Okay. Got that lined up. I'll use my squeegee and work this around. This is so pretty. This image is amazing. See, that lined up really good. We're gonna add on a decal, so you're hardly even gonna be able to see the seam. But like I said, if I didn't sand my cup so much, or if I would have put another layer of epoxy on here, which I normally do for a chunky glitter, I just got that really flat, then it would have lined up near perfect. So just to flatten this out, I'm going to take this down the seam here. So move it to where I can see it. Look at that. That looks even better. Perfect. So pretty. Okay, let's go grab our vinyl off the Cricut. Working on two different cups, but just look how pretty that is. All right, so we are using this one on top. Such fine detail in this, so I'm trying to pull it really slow. That's why I love TECKWRAPCRAFT, y'all. It weeds so good. It's cute. cow, somebody just shot off a cannon outside. Just not unusual. It's when you live out in the country. For this, we're going to use the strong TECKWRAPCRAFT transfer tape. What I usually do to store my TECKWRAPCRAFT is once I open a roll, I'll pull the cardboard out of the center and I'll cut it and then use it to hold my vinyl. It's free. I really hope these look good layered. Now let's try to get this lined up so I will get it lined up on my tumbler good too. I'm not good at lining up these long, like straight up and down decals. Makes me so happy when this works out good. This has a reflection. Do I got it? I do. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Uh-oh. Didn't get it. Does anyone else hold their breath when they do that? I do. And I'm not certain that I'm going to love this on the cup. But we are going to try. Cut this bottom strip off. That way, once we have this lined up, that's what we're going to pull off. Or that's what we're going to press down to secure it onto the cup. So I do, ooh, I bumped you. I do want to make sure I get this on here really straight. We're going to put it right over top of that. Move on me. Pull that up and then pop it off this way. that. Now I do like that. It stands out really good. I thought I wasn't going to. But I do. It blends in and stands out at the same time. If that even makes sense. Oh, she's beautiful. All right, so that's done. I'm amazed that that turned out like I wanted it to. I did not think that it would. Let's add some epoxy.
All right, guys, I'm going to use a little extra incorporated epoxy for my final 2 coats. They do have a facet epoxy, and you can use that for your final coats as well. Just, my voice is muffled because I am using a respirator. Make sure you have a respirator on before you mix part A and part B of your epoxy. We're going to mix this until it's clear. I don't mix slow. How on earth do we get glitter in there? I don't mix slow. I mix really fast. I'm impatient. So yes, I will get bubbles in my epoxy, but this is a low to medium viscosity epoxy, and it releases its own bubbles very well. If you do a time lapse of this kind of just chilling to the side for a few minutes, you'll see so many bubbles rise on their own, and they come out super, super easy with one round of a torch. So if you're having troubles with bubbles in your epoxy, chances are, and this is from my own personal experience, it doesn't mean for everybody, chances are you're just a fast mixer like me, and you're using too thick of an epoxy the way that you like to work. Even on the thick epoxies, you can use a torch to pop those bubbles, but what happens sometimes is it doesn't get warm enough to thin it out enough for all of those bubbles to come out. And that's a problem that happened with me when I was using a thicker viscosity epoxy before, was that those just didn't, it started curing, the facet especially would start curing before I could heat it up enough for all of those bubbles to come to the top. It's just not the case with a little extra. See, I have literally whipped this into what looks like a soap, but there will be 0 bubbles after I torch. 0, 0, because it's thin. All right, so I have 3 cups that I'm actually working on. I'll show all 3 of them to you. This one, there will be tutorials for all of these if they aren't already posted when this video goes out. Absolutely gorgeous cups. So let's get started. I mixed up 60 milliliters of epoxy. Another good thing about a little extra incorporated epoxy and its thinner viscosity is you use less. Your cups are thinner just because you use less epoxy for each coat. It self-levels very well. And this is already done. Look at how fast I get that done. Just even it out some. And I will do 2 final coats of epoxy on this. But you can already see those bubbles are rising to the top. You can see some of them right here. They're already coming to the surface. So I'm going to pop this on my turner while I work on these others, and then I will go back and torch it here in just a bit.
And that is a wrap, y'all. I hope that you like how this tumbler turned out. I know we didn't show how I layered this vinyl in Design Space. Both of the offsets are a 0.035 offset. I kind of pieced this one together myself, so I will have a link down below for the font that I used as well as the little butterfly. And I just typed out the antisocial and added the butterfly on the end. So I will have both of those links down below for y'all. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, learned a little something new. And that is all for today. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Bye.